Welcome to this week's REI Deal Breakdown. Today I'm going to do Apple Lane Part 2. This is the sale of the property. I'll give you an update. I'll tell you how the deal ended up working out and some lessons that I learned. So if you're not familiar with me, I've been a full-time real estate entrepreneur now for almost a decade. I've done over 300 properties, and everything you're going to learn in these videos is from the real world. So if you get value from this or any other piece of media I put out, if you can do me a favor and like the video and subscribe to my channel, it would really mean a lot to me. So let's talk about 46 Apple Lane Part 2. Bought the property from a wholesaler. They reached out to me directly. They had a bunch of buyers interested, and I've already worked with this wholesaler before, so they sold it to me. So I bought the property, put, probably $45,000 into it and got hard money. So, typical flip. And I ended up rehabbing the house in like a week and a half. It was an easy cosmetic rehab, kitchen, bathrooms, paint, floors, etc. Threw the house on the market. And the reason I knew this was going to sell really quickly, and it ended up selling, by the way, for $15K over ask, spoiler alert, is because if you look at the area it was in, and it's in Orange County, New York, right on the edge up by Sullivan, it's basically like the final frontier of affordable housing. I just kind of made that up. But in the Hudson Valley, this is like, 1-800 affordable housing, because anywhere in the Hudson Valley besides a few areas, you can't get in the door for anything less than 400 to potentially 500 grand, depending on where you are. And in this case, this property was way up in the northern part of the county. ARVs were anywhere from 3 to 330, which is much cheaper than the average in the county. And I knew that because it was in a neighborhood and there was a bunch of houses around it and it was easy to do comps on it, someone's going to buy this thing for at least 300 grand, if not more. And that's a good deal for someone, because to find a property for under 350 in Orange County, it's kind of unheard of nowadays. So we put it on the market for $299. And the reason we did that instead of like $315 is because I'd rather start the property off lower, generate a bunch of demand, and then get multiple offers above ask. And that's usually what we do on every flip. So threw the property on the market, fully renovated. Everything was good to go, looked beautiful inside. And we got a ton of buyer interest, a ton of demand, a ton of showings, and we got multiple offers. And the offer that we took was a offer that was $15K above ask. After the inspection, I believe we gave him $1,000 credit, so it ended up really being about a $314 sales price. The escrow process to sell it was somewhat smooth. The mortgage took a little bit longer than we thought for, various reasons. The borrower needed to provide more information to the lender, and that caused a little bit of a delay. It caused about a 2.5-week delay. So I think it took about 6 weeks to close, or maybe 7 weeks to close on the sale side. And at the end of the day, the profit margin was like $25,000. And that's normally not good for a rehab, because at least in my area, like if you can't make at least 10% of the sales price minimum, it's usually not worth it. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you why I did this deal and why, in my opinion, it was a win. So first things first, I bought it from a wholesaler. I've done many deals with this wholesaler. I have a very good relationship with them. So I figured I'd pay a little bit more for the property just to keep the relationship going. And ironically, like the week after I bought this house, he had another house that we did. And I actually wholesaled that with him. But, it was another deal that came in for free, basically. So that was awesome. Reason number two, and this deal was a win, is it was a very normal house in a normal neighborhood with easy comps, right? It was very easy to figure out what the property was worth, and it was very easy to determine that the house was going to sell quickly because of the price point. And the location and the type of property was less risky because of the comparables and because it was in a regular neighborhood with houses all around it that were similar. And then the third reason I did the deal is that, this deal just got me even better at doing renovations at good numbers, right? So I was able to get the rehab done with my contractor in like a week and a half. We had a pretty good budget we put together. We went over a little bit because there were some things that we didn't realize. But at the end of the day, this deal got me even more experience in the rehab game, and we were able to do the deal at a good budget in a really good timeline, and we were able to put a great property on the market. So that's why I did the deal. Those are the reasons. Now, the lessons on this deal: number one, don't underestimate the value of a wholesaler relationship. When you have good wholesalers who bring you deals and you're a flipper, these relationships are worth their weight in gold, so treat them like that. Lesson number two in this case is that when you're buying properties to flip, try to stick to houses that are in subdivisions if you can, right? When you're flipping properties and they're on remote roads and they're in the middle of nowhere, it's much harder to figure out what they're going to sell for. But if you're buying flip inventory in neighborhoods where the comps are very similar, it's so much easier to sell these properties. It's easy for them to appraise. It's just so much better. So try to stick to subdivisions. And then the third lesson on this deal I'll tell you is that the more exit strategies you have, the more money you're going to make. Like if I didn't have the ability to rehab properties and I was just, a wholesaler, I wouldn't have been able to do this deal. It wouldn't have made any sense. But because I'm able to rehab properties and because I have good crews and good contractors, I'm able to monetize all these leads and ultimately grow the business. So if you have more than one exit strategy, you're able to make a lot more money. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value from it. This is Apple Lane in Westbrookville, New York. And if you're in the Hudson Valley, or you're in Seattle, or you're in Delaware, San Diego, or Reno, and you have a house you want to wholesale to me like this wholesaler, or you have a house you want to wholesale with me, we could JV it. I'm down to do deals with the people who watch my videos. Send me an email, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, or you can send me an Instagram DM at grego37, and I will see you on the next REI Deal Breakdown. Take care, everybody.